Welcome to Module 2, Timelines, Auburn School Department's training module. The learning objectives for this module are that you understand the timeline of the evaluation cycle and that you understand the difference between a probationary teacher and a continuing contract teacher. This section is for probationary teachers only. Probationary Teacher Timeline Year 1. During new teacher orientation, an administrator will provide the Teacher Evaluation Framework Handbook and will review components of the evaluation process with new teachers. Training will be provided to include a schedule for completing all components and resources available to assist in teachers' understanding of the evaluation process. Prior to the evaluation meeting, an administrator will conduct a classroom visit. The teacher will complete and submit a self-assessment, and the teacher will complete a PDCA, which identifies 3 or more goals, 2 of which target student growth. There are many important dates to remember. October 1st. That's when the administrator and teacher meet to review Teacher Professional Growth Plan, the PDCA. The administrator will review a schedule for formal observations, a minimum of 2 to be conducted throughout the year. January 31st. The administrator and the teacher will need to check in on the PDCA. The plan will be reviewed and adjusted to ensure end-of-the-year instructional and professional goals are met. April 15th. The administrator will conduct formal observations with documentation. The administrator and the teacher will then conference within 1 week of the observation. All observation documentation will be submitted by the administrator to the personnel office, and the teacher will complete a reflection on the PDCA and submit goal evidence to the administrator. By May 1st, the administrator will complete the PDCA and meet with the teacher to review the summative effective rating. The administrators will submit a completed and signed PDCA to the personnel office with an employment recommendation. During years 2 and 3, a probationary teacher will need to pay attention to these dates. By October 31st, you'll meet with your administrator to review your PDCA. By January 31st, you'll check in on that PDCA, review and adjust to make sure you can meet your end-of-the-year goals. By April 15th, you'll have had a minimum of 2 formal observations with documentation. The administrator will conference with the teacher. The administrator will then submit all observation documentation for the personnel file. The teacher will complete a reflection on the PDCA and submit goal evidence to the administrator. And then the teacher will successfully complete the requirements of teacher induction. By May 1st, the administrator will complete the PDCA and meet with the teacher to review a summative effective rating. Then the administrator will submit the completed and signed PDCA to the personnel office with an employment recommendation. Probationary teachers have many responsibilities. They'll need to complete a self-assessment using the Marzano Art and Science of Teaching framework, document a plan to achieve successful completion of all building, district, and individual goals, monitor progress of work towards those goals and make adjustments as appropriate on the PDCA, complete a reflection on Teacher Professional Growth Plan and submit evidence of goal attainment to the administrator no later than April 15th, and successfully complete the teacher induction no later than April 15th of Year 3. This section is for continuing contract teachers only. By September 30th, the teacher will need to review the Marzano Art and Science of Teaching framework. You can find it in your teacher handbook and on iObservation. By September 30th, an administrator will review the PEPG system and evaluation process with the entire staff. By September 30th, the yearly building and/or district goals will be identified and shared. By October 31st, the teacher will complete the PDCA, which identifies 2 or more goals targeting student growth and at least 1 professional growth goal. This can be done in one of 3 ways. Number 1, individually. Submit your final document to your administrator for approval. Number 2, through a collaborative process of peer review. You may work with other teachers, but the final completed document has to be submitted to administrator for approval, or through a conference with your administrator. Now, an administrator will conduct formative observations, at least 2 during the year. Data will be collected through iObservation. The teacher can access feedback through iObservation. And if it's deemed appropriate at this time, an administrator and a teacher can conference after the observation. Additionally, teachers can access formative feedback through self-selected peer review. Your peers can actually watch you teach and then submit feedback through iObservation for you. Teacher will have to review evidence of demonstrated proficiency and make adjustments to their PDCA to make sure that they're meeting their growth goals. This can be done in one of 3 ways. Number 1, individually. Number 2, with a team of teachers in a collaborative process. Or number 3, through a conference with your administrator. There are some important dates to remember. By June 1st, a continuing contract teacher will have to determine their student growth goal results. Then the teacher will complete reflection on the PDCA and submit the PDCA goal evidence, including student growth goals, to the administrator. By July 15th, the administrator will determine an effectiveness summative rating using the scoring matrix and make a recommendation for continuous improvement. The administrator will submit a completed and signed PDCA for employment recommendation to the superintendent. An assigned copy of the final annual teacher appraisal goal sheet will be placed in the personnel file by August 31st. As a continuing contract teacher, you have many responsibilities. Seek support through peer review and administrator feedback to develop goals that are appropriate and to secure resources to demonstrate proficiency and evaluation. Review the Marzano Art and Science of Teaching framework to look for goals. Develop a PDCA connected to district and building goals. Determine student growth goal results based on those students for whom you are the teacher of record. And document work to achieve successful completion of your PDCA. Make sure that all your evaluation evidence demonstrating proficiency, including an annual reflection, is available to the administrator no later than June 1st. This is all for training module number 2. Thank you for listening.